a day. So head on down to the cafeteria to grab yourself a hot slice.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the SCP podcast. Today we got our special guest, Mr. Klay.
Hello. Hi.
And first off, just like a huge congrats on SCP-96 for pulling through. It was a huge project, really big undertaking.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, how's it feel to get like 1 million views in like less than 3 weeks?
Yeah, it feels good. It has been a long process, so yeah, it feels good.
I'm sure you've talked about it a lot already, but like, if for people who don't know, you work a full-time job.
Yep.
You have a family.
Yep.
And you're also working on. You basically did most of the VFX, like just you, right, on this film?
Yeah. No, it was all pretty much all editing, VFX, sound design, all that stuff, directing. I had a great team.
And like,
yes, but basically all that post stuff was all me. Yeah. So it was
like that actually blew my mind.
It was
like,
I kind of
hell?
shot myself in the foot by doing it that way, but yeah, no, it was a ton of work. It was a good experience, but
no, I mean,
yeah.
like how'd you balance that? Like, I feel like how'd you not manage? Did you get at least some point of burnout? Like you had to take a break? Or was it just kind of like,
yeah, during like I think Christmas break. Actually, I worked on Christmas break on it, but that was one point where I'm like, I need to, like, for the sake of my family, step away and like put this thing in the back of my head. I mean, I wanted it out by the end of the year, but I knew that it would kill me if I did it. And then it just kept going on, and especially like, we can get into this a little bit later, but like the VFX was not like, this was kind of the first time I was doing a lot of this stuff, so I would do iterations of stuff over and over, and some of these renders were like 1,000 frames at 3 minutes a frame, so it would just, one thing would be wrong or something I wasn't happy with, and then back at it again. Yeah.
Holy crap. Oh my god.
Yeesh. Yeah. So it was a good learning experience doing it all, and I'm super appreciative of the community for just like being patient about it. So
yeah, no, I was actually really like happily surprised about how like people are like, take your time, we want quality, not speed.
Yeah. I mean, I could have probably taken another month or two probably on it, but I needed it. Like, it was for my mental health. I needed it out.
No, I definitely get the whole where like you sit on a project for so long, it feels like,
oh man, it just eats at you too.
Like,
yeah,
need to just let go.
Yeah,
like it's time.
Yep.
I mean, ironically, it's kind of good timing considering that everyone's been locked down and wants stuff to watch.
Granted, so. I probably could have just, I'd be at home anyhow. I'd probably just be working on it anyhow, but I've actually been really busy with work, so it's been, I guess, a good thing.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's been really hectic, just like completely switching to completely at home.
Yeah,
sort of situation.
It's actually not too much different. I mean, I was essentially doing the same thing at work. I just brought my work computer home, and I would kind of just sit at it all day anyhow, so not too much different.
Well, for people who don't know, what do you do for work? What's your like main way of making money?
So I work for an ad agency called This Is Red Agency out of Pittsburgh, and we do a lot of nationwide clients like stuff. So we don't really have a lot of local, but we do some local stuff. So we're kind of not reliant too much on the local, like meeting with people and doing all that stuff. So that in that aspect, it's been okay so far with the whole COVID-19 thing. But so I do editing, VFX, motion design, cinematography.
I won't get too into it because this starts getting into like industry talk. But
sure.
Are you guys mainly like a graphics based commercial? Because one place I worked at, it seemed like 2/3 of the stuff they worked on was like almost pure animation or pure VFX based, like ad spots.
We're pretty small, so we do a lot of we still do a lot of like web stuff. Like we have a web guy, graphic designer. Basically, me and the head guy there tackle both animation and any live stuff. So it's kind of a big mix. Like we're almost a one-stop shop, but like we still, hire out for specific jobs.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I feel like some people might not realize that, like, just because a production company has a job, it doesn't mean they're covering everything from start to finish. Which is one thing I found really interesting when I first started getting into the field. But speaking of working full time in film or commercials, do you have any like advice for like any upcoming people that are maybe getting into film school, or they just graduate and their whole thing is what's next? Like, how do I start working at an ad agency or a production company? Yeah,
man, it's so much different now. Like I graduated in 2011. I started in 2006 in game design. And then like a year into it, I still kind of like wish I would have continued in game design, but I still, I love like VFX and that kind of aspect. So they both are somewhat like similar as far as just like the feel you get from like just creating something in 3D and kind of, for me in VFX, putting it in live action and stuff, it just the reward you get from completing a shot, even though sometimes some of the stuff going into it sucks, but it's so much different now. Like I don't know if I would recommend going to a film school if someone hasn't or is thinking about it, but then again, I don't know their situation. Like if they're in the middle of nowhere, like it's going to be super hard to just get into it. It's so easy to say, oh well, just volunteer at a production house doing whatever you can just to like learn, instead of putting $100,000 or whatever into a college degree.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But I mean, it's so much situational dependent. I would say like it's hard because like when I graduated, I took the first job that I could because I was afraid like as soon as I graduated, my loans were going to start coming at me.
Rolling in, yeah.
And like I took a corporate media job it was fine in the sense of like creativity, but it was still corporate media. And after a year, that stuff like starts really just hurting the soul. Oh, yeah, so I graduated here at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, which is now closed.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and as soon as I graduated, I took a job down in North Carolina for a corporate media, like I said. And then about a year and a half in, I wasn't really happy, so I started looking around, and then found an agency back here in Pittsburgh, This Is Red, and did a Skype call, came up and got the job, and a couple months later moved the family back up, and been happy since, I guess. So it's been pretty good.
I'm surprised how traditional, like, because I feel like it varies so much with different people I talk to in the industry, but some people are like, oh, I knew this guy that knew this guy, and that's how I got this job, and it's like this like loose thread of connections. But for you, it's just basically an interview in your resume.
I sent out so many resumes and emails and stuff. So it could just been luck. I mean, it was nice having that year and stuff to kind of put my reel together the way that I wanted. I think school, I don't think matters as much as what you can show in your reel, but then with the reel, like, you actually need work, or at least some competency to kind of show. So it's a tough thing. Like if someone is right out of school and if they got student films, that's fine and stuff, but I mean, you need to diversify, and you need to think about what direction you're kind of wanting to go, because you could go commercial, you could go film. I mean, you really just need to focus on that direction of your reel.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of, at least when I went to film school, so I graduated like 2 years ago.
Okay.
I'm still fresh out of the gates, but I feel like a lot of people, even their senior year, they still didn't know like what direction they wanted to take.
Yeah.
And it's like at that point, I feel like your senior year, you really need to start like thinking of like, all right, if I'm going VFX, I got to start working on that reel.
Yeah.
If I haven't already, on like what type of VFX I want to go to. You know, do I want to be a 3D model or do I want animation, yada, yada, yada. And in a weird way for me, so I want to go directing, producing route, but in a weird way for me, my YouTube channel, for those who don't know, 401 Foundry, has in a weird way become my director's reel right now.
Yeah.
And I don't work as a director right now. I'm still, you know, climbing up the ladder, as they say. Mm-hmm. But I literally got my past 2 jobs because of the YouTube channel.
That's great though, man. That's so, yeah, and you can tailor it the way you want. So that's pretty cool.
I'm definitely also kind of on the road of like how useful is film school. And I will say for me, it did help having some alumni connections. It definitely helped me right out of college.
That's good. Yeah.
But I know other people where they got no work.
Yeah.
Alumni, and they just kind of just hit the ground running. I guess they just try to. I know some people, they basically went up to like random productions in New York City and just like gave their card out to the AD.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you need PAs, give me a ring. It's like, yeesh.
Yeah. I mean, I know I didn't get anything from my school. It was all just me sending emails out. Yeah, which was pretty sad.
I mean, that's the other thing. I feel like if you insist, if you have to go to a film school, I think just really consider the alumni connection. I feel like that's the only thing that I don't know. 'Cause I mean, I have a thing where it's like I don't know how well you can teach creativity in a university setting.
Yeah.
I think it was great for if you want to like be a DP or if you want to get your hands on gear. Like I think that's pretty, aspect of it. For at least my school. But then, you know, if you're going directing, producing, I only learned anything directing and producing related my last year out of 4 years.
Oh man, yeah.
It was a little rough.
And there's so much, there's so much that, I mean, there's so much just online that you can just find, which it's so hard. Like, I don't want to get into that whole like going through so many different tutorial sites and stuff, but like it's really all out there.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of like the past decade.
Yeah.
That's been a thing. It's so new.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I feel like, speaking of like the past 10 years, I feel like literally like 96, my YouTube channel and most like SCP creators, their YouTube channels would literally not be able to exist without like the internet and the current tech that's available now.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And I was gonna lead to another question, and then I was in train of thought.
You're good.
This is why we don't do this live. Let's see. I got a list. Don't worry. Yeah. So I guess that kind of leads into what was it like to kickstart, and basically, you know, what was it like to fundraise and then try to have to commit to those fans that have funded. So I feel it's a pretty unique kind of situation.
Yeah, it definitely is. It was I don't know how to say. I mean, we just kind of thought about what rewards we could deliver upon. That, I mean, looking back at it, we still like the rewards that we could deliver, like it still took a chunk out of the budget. Kind of more than we expect, mostly just time. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you personally mail out?
Yeah, no, I personally mailed and packaged everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds dreadful.
Yeah. So after a while, it can get kind of, so my advice would be to anyone who's thinking about doing Kickstarters, just really like think about that streamlined reward system. Or at least have that's something in place. Yeah. Because
I wouldn't have thought about that. Definitely. Like right away, at least.
Yeah. Well, because right away you're just thinking like, what can I want to make this worth it to people. It's just later on when that part really just kicks in. And not that I regret any of it, because I love seeing all the messages and stuff back from people saying they love the SCP patches that we made. And I'm still getting the posters out. This whole COVID thing has kind of really slowed down that aspect, just getting like supplies and stuff. So
like, are the print shops
it's
slower to print?
Well, it's just like the UPS or the USPS store doesn't have as many like mailing tubes that I needed, so I had to order those out, and they were like super slow about getting those out. So yeah, they're like Staples and stuff is all closed. Like, so
that's right. Yeah. And isn't the post office also like limited hours now? So they're not even open all the time. I know ours is super weird. Like they're out like 2 hours in the middle of the day for lunch. For 2 hours?
Well, it always feels like it's either hour and a half that they're out, and it's always like it's like 1:30 to 1:30 to like to 3 or something. It's right every time when I go there, they're gone. So.
Damn, that's actually insane. So I mean, like, were there any other kind of unique things that you could think of related to Kickstarter, or is that kind of really the big thing that stuck out for you?
That was kind of the big thing. I mean, Volgan really like pretty much made the Kickstarter happen with just getting that out there. Yeah, so we were probably not going to reach that goal, which the initial goal, I mean, that was going to be super, like, we were going to have to do everything super cheap, and it probably wouldn't have been as long as it was. And but thankfully,
I'm surprised how much of the film, like the amount of CG in it, like, considering it's just you basically doing all that. Like what was it, like almost half the film, right?
It was it was a good chunk. It was probably close to half or a third maybe of the film. Yeah, it was. I mean, like for people who don't realize, like, you made the environments, you made the lighting, you did a lot of the texturing, like the animation. There's so many layers to this process. There's definitely a lot. And I'm not a modeler, so I did have to buy pretty much every model, but everything kind of needed tweaked and optimized for Octane and stuff. So yeah, it was a process, even though they did a lot of the work.
Like, what would you say is like the most, on average, what was like the most time consuming thing that kind of kept coming up?
I think the containment breach scene was super hard because like I did all mocap for each character, and then I attached just a digital camera, 3D camera to each one, just to get that like kind of body cam look. But like getting everything to look where I wanted when I wanted, because I would do 2 separate captures, so I would have to like time certain things. Plus it was like basically each camera was one continuous take, and then I would like edit them together. But I basically
like both. Sorry, so like both like actors, like the personnel, they were animated at separate times, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so
2 separate takes.
Yeah, I have a Rococo Smart Suit Pro, which is just a mocap suit, and I can just capture.
Looks amazing.
It's pretty cool. It's seriously awesome tech. Yeah. Because I can just kind of, if I need something, I just throw it on and capture it, and then rig it up in Cinema and can throw it in. I mean, previous ways of doing that was so difficult and cumbersome, so tech is really getting pretty cool out there.
I mean, how smooth was that? Did it have its own unique like issues, or was it pretty like streamlined?
The only issues I had with it was binding it to 096, because his torso, like his limbs and stuff weren't so the right. Yeah, and I had so many issues with, like, I almost had to like redo a lot of the animation just because of arms were and hands and stuff were clipping through stuff, and so there was more work doing 096 than any of the other ones. Any of the other ones, like the soldiers, like all the satellite footage or the thermal stuff, was me just acting it out, and then I just rendered it out over top and stuff.
It's fun. It's like playing make believe.
Yeah, no, it is. It's super. And that's what's like so fun about VFX and stuff, is just like it's almost like Legos and for movies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if I'm sure you've heard of it, but have you tried where you animate with like a VR set? So instead of a suit, you'd have like leg trackers and the hand trackers.
I only have the Oculus. I haven't tried any like the Vive stuff, but I mean, all the stuff I've kind of like looked into, it looks super cumbersome and like a lot of like back end stuff that you have to do to it. I'm sure it's
like program software.
Yeah, just like getting it to kind of all register right. But yeah, that you could do it that way. Like if you were really determined and you are into like the Vive and all that stuff, you could easily kind of start putting that together.
So I'm assuming with that, the issue is that it's kind of guesstimating your position of your shoulders and your torso and your legs, and that's where it gets a bit more kind of fuzzy.
Yeah, I would think those trackers would definitely be doing a lot more cleanup in post. The Rococo suit, I think, has I want to say like 50 something sensors, or it might be less than that. But like it pretty much records each bone and stuff. So it makes it a lot easier.
Is there, I mean, so you kind of brought this up with 96, but is it basically kind of useless when it comes to more like beast, like four-legged kind of creatures?
It depends. You could like, yeah, you could target certain limbs that you want, and then just use, say, your arm for a character's arm, and just use that take. Yeah, or it's just the really legs. Cool. Yeah, there's ways of doing it. As far as just rigging and stuff, it can get hairy doing it that way, just because like there'd be so many different takes you're kind of picking from. But yeah, no, it's doable.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, cause for our film, Max, our animator, he has gotten very comfortable actually with using Oculus. Supposedly that's how he mainly animates like stuff to this day.
Oh, really?
Which I find amazing. I really want to see how he does it. Like really get to see kind of behind the scenes. But I don't know. He was saying he was raving about it. He's like, yeah, I love it. It saves me so much time. So I feel like he might have really like figured it out.
Yeah, it probably gives you a really good starting base. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess compared to hand animation, you know, it definitely beats that. Because I think he probably just uses it for like just the very basic blocking out the actions, and then he goes to the hand animation for like the finer details. Because I think he's done it for like a four-legged. It's that like spider robot creature in one of Bung's videos. I'm not sure if you've seen that one.
Oh no,
it's a very like obscure 2-second scene, but he used it, I think, for that model. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. It could have been another thing you worked on, but it was pretty impressive. I mean, do you have any general advice for people who like want to get into VFX specifically?
Not really. I mean, I know Blender is getting really good about getting into. I mean, Ian Hubert, who does a lot of tutorials and stuff on it. If you want to go check his stuff out, if you're looking into getting into VFX and want to start free, Blender is definitely where you want to go. At least to get a start.
I'll throw some links down.
Yeah.
Just a heads up. So any of you that want to get into it, because I know there's a bunch of really good guys out there. But
yeah, there's tons.
Ian Hubert, right? You're saying?
Yeah, Ian Hubert. Yeah, his work is pretty great, and all of his like short, lazy tutorials that he does are pretty awesome.
And I mean, what would you say? Do you enjoy making environments more often, or like more working on like models and people?
I almost enjoy, like, once I've kind of got the scene in, I almost enjoy the camera work more. I don't know, I just find it fun, because I started off as just doing DP and cinematography stuff before I could really even get into 3D. So I don't know, I guess that aspect just kind of translates over, but I just love putting like worlds together and just kind of world building that way. Specifically,
cool.
with like concept art and stuff. It's just fun.
Did you control the camera like by a mouse? Because one thing I've been seeing a lot is some people will use like a Vive controller, and they will literally have like a phone on the Vive, and they'll literally use that as like a digital camera.
I've seen some of those, and that would be so great if I could find that workflow. But mainly, I would just throw a vibrate on and animate it, and then just keyframe positions. It was super super ghetto, I guess.
For someone who's more experienced though, do you feel like it's a big time saver in the VR setup, or it's like just kind of more of a convenience kind of thing?
I think it'd be more of a convenience thing. I just wouldn't know how to like get all the programs to talk to each other and get that data in a timely manner. I mean, I'm sure once you kind of work that workflow, it's great, but I just couldn't find really much on like people showing how to do it.
Because it's so bleeding edge, right?
It
like,
is,
people are still kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess everyone has probably asked this already, but why'd you pick SCP-96 as like the film to kickstart?
When I finished Site 22, I put a poll at the end or whatever, and just put up 3 of the bigger SCPs. One, I wanted to do 93 because I've loved 93 for a long time, but 96 got like a resounding vote in the poll, so that's the one I picked, and here we are.
What was the third option? I'm curious.
106. So the old man, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. So I mean, you kind of briefly mentioned 93, but like, if you had to pick like your like top 3 or top 2 like favorite SCPs that you'd want to like dream scenario, you get the funding, you get to make it a film.
Yeah, so 93 would be one. Second pick, probably Site 13.
Yeah, I was just actually rereading that one recently.
Yeah, it's a good one. It'd be as far as like translating the cinema that everyone could kind of get into.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, you don't want to pick something too like crazy. That, I mean, you just got to think of what is most digestible. I mean, as great as it would be to do. I mean, I guess you could do really any of them, but you want to branch. The thing I liked about doing 96 the way that we did it was that anybody could kind of watch it and still sort of, really get into it. And I've had a lot of comments of people sharing it to family members and stuff, saying that this got them into it, or this,
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was like an entryway. So that's cool. Yeah,
I feel like it says like, wow, my film actually can like clearly tell a story, and like they don't need to be a fan or know a ton of knowledge to get the gist.
Yeah. As far as that third one, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like that definitely is the case with a good chunk of SCPs. It's like, unless it's a lot of like, you need to know background characters, you need to know other references, and unless you don't, it gets very like muddied and kind of, you don't get like the full experience.
Yeah. I can't really think of a third one. No. Yeah.
Because I know you were saying you're not. I mean, I'm the same exact way. I'm not the best with just pulling lists off the top of my brain.
Yeah. I mean, I liked 2935 was Death.
Have I read that one?
The one where they like fly a drone through a cave or something, and like on the other side is the same world, but like everything is dead.
Oh, I actually haven't read this one.
I think it's by DJ Cactus, I want to say.
That's my boy. I've read part of this. That's it. I didn't read the whole thing. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah.
That's a cool one. Yeah, no. Have you read much Tales, or do you kind of stick more to like the numbered sort of things?
Yeah, no, I have
files.
It's been so long actually since I've just gotten back to read articles and stuff. So
same. I took like a 6-month break.
Yeah, no, so my brain is pretty much shot from anything that I have read previous to that.
I'm just kind of like, if someone starts throwing numbers at me, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like what thing?
Yep.
I know like the top 10 most obvious. I mean, I'm just awful with math and numbers in general. So like I have that against me as well. But because like if you know Sumerian is like, I mean, he's an author on the page, but also like the man knows, like, it seems like he knows every single SCP, the number, the author. He's like an encyclopedia. So I'm like, in a conversation with him, I'm like, cool. I feel like a total scrub next to you.
Yeah, no, I'd be really bad if people start throwing numbers at me.
Yeah, I mean, especially we've had a author, I think, on here before, and it was just like, man, time to do my homework. Cause like, that's one of the ones where I really had to like prep beforehand. So let's see. I feel like this is a good one. If you had to kind of go back in time and you could give advice to yourself right before you were gonna make or even do the Kickstarter for 96, what were like the big tips or pointers that you'd say to yourself?
That's a good one. I probably would have. Oh, I don't know. I'd almost have not done the incident and maybe have done something entirely new or separate. That way we could tailor it, because like the incident and even like the retrieval logs, like I mean, to do those right, you need a decent budget. There's so much that we had to cut from the incident or rework. It'd been cool to do maybe something different prior between the termination or in the incident. I don't know. I'd probably have said to just scale back, I guess, production. I mean, I still would have wanted to do like CG stuff, and I mean that stuff was all fun. It was probably just, there was just so much in the incident like to cover in 20 minutes.
Okay, so just on my side, you're starting to break up a little bit, but obviously we should be okay.
I think I lost you.
Sorry, I'm just like organizing some notes. I mean, okay, so normally we actually start the podcast with this, a bit unorthodox this time, but
okay.
Like, how'd you get into SCP? What kind of grabbed your attention?
Yeah, I think it was 87 was the staircase that I first heard about. I don't think I saw the gameplay footage. I don't think at that point. I don't remember how. I think it was like right when I started getting on Reddit. Yeah. Was when I started discovering the SCP stuff. So 87 I think was like the first one, and then 93 was shortly after. Yeah, and I just loved it ever since.
Do you remember when that was? Like how many years ago?
That was probably early 2012.
Oh wow, yeah, about the same time I found it. Jake found it when he was like 13. Just kind of
oh wow, that is like crazy.
The second year it was like existed, but he kind of spent his entire childhood on the internet, so that's kind of why. I mean, were you always super into like sci-fi, mystery?
Oh yeah,
like X-Files kind of stuff?
Yeah, like I would say like pretty much sci-fi was my stuff growing up. Starship Troopers I loved, even though how bad
I just watched it recently.
It's so good though.
Kick-ass film.
God, I wish they would make a new VR game that would be like, that would feel like
Starship?
that would, oh man, because I mean they pretty much they would kind of get there in like Half-Life Alyx and stuff, but man.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I mean, if you've played Half-Life, then you kind of know the antlions and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, Half-Life was a really big thing. I think I got it in like 98. And
wow.
yeah, I was probably what was I, 12? Yeah, I was 12 when I started playing that.
That's a tough game for a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it was scared the shit out of me. For how bad the graphics are going back at it, but it was pretty intense. Yeah, that was a huge influence.
Have you played Mesa? The whole like redesign of Half-Life, the whole fan-made like essentially remake of
no, I haven't.
Half-Life.
I need to go back and see that because I want to show my kids, because I've been recently replaying Half-Life 2. They've already watched me play Half-Life Alyx.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they're all into it now.
That's fun. My little cousins, they're like super into like the Star Wars Adventures phase right now.
Oh yeah,
They're like 7 and 5. They're pretty young.
Yeah.
But I'm like, one day, because I got them really into I used to play this game called Godzilla Destroy All Monsters on GameCube.
Uh-huh.
And like every time they come over to their house, they're like, I want to play Godzilla. I'm like, good.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah,
so, I mean, I grew up with like. Sorry, no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that when I finished 96, 096, because people don't like 96.
Really?
My
That's
kids, I think it just people don't like it said like that. Because we had like the whole debate of when we were filming it, like how they would say it and stuff, and it was just kind of
point, yeah.
But my kids loved it, and my like 3-year-old would want to play. He would just like play pretend 096, and they would just like run at each other. And
oh, it's so cute. Yeah. Oh my god,
that was probably like the best thing, coming out of this is seeing them like really enjoy it and stuff. So
is your whole family like just a bunch of nerds, or is it more just the lone
Nah,
nerd?
it's probably just me.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I mean, and for me, what actually kind of got me into a lot of SCP, I've read. I don't know if you had like those book fairs growing up in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
But they always sold the Ripley Believe It or Not books.
Mm-hmm.
And those were always filled with, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're basically like always filled with like these weird, strange like cryptids and the merman monkey.
Yeah, it was like the gate.
And, like,
it was like the gateway into SCP.
Definitely was for me, yeah. And then like I grew up with like a lot of like monster movies like Gamera, Godzilla, Monty Python for some weird reason.
Oh yeah, Monty Python.
Which like I enjoyed it a lot as a kid, but I realized most kids my age weren't really watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I know. I think I first saw that when I was like 10, which is way too early to say. Yeah.
And like I think I remember watching Life of Brian. I'm just like, I just did not get.
I don't think I got it. Yeah, no, I remember watching it and like not getting past 15 minutes just because I don't think I got it.
Yeah, that one's a bit like, and then Mel Brooks definitely. I think I'm trying to remember what my first Mel Brooks movie was. It might have been was it The History of the World? That's like
that sounds familiar. Yeah.
But oh no, it was do you know Young Frankenstein?
Yep. Oh, I love that movie.
That's a great movie for people who haven't seen that. Great Halloween movie, or just great comedy in general. Like definitely check that out. It's black and white, but like please still watch it.
Yeah.
Like just ignore that. I know so many people that are just like they have a hard pass on anything black and white.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, it's a shame. Like you're missing out.
I feel like that was a trend like 5 to 10 years ago, and I think it's coming back. Like people are okay with it now. But
just like the people being okay with black and white.
Yeah, I think it's being excusable now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it helps a lot when, if you're a kid, you actually see a good black and white film, and it's not just historic footage.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because like, I feel like for me, I didn't really like actually look forward to or appreciate black and white films till like I was in high school. Because my dad he would do this fun thing where we'd go to the library and just go to the foreign film section, or like just the random movie section, and just pull like 3 DVDs. just randomly.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like it was like, it actually really was like, really formative and what kind of got me to like want to pursue a career in film, but it also made me really appreciate like, hey, maybe not just watch American films, maybe not just watch films that came out in the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, libraries still exist. Go to them.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not now, but like,
I don't think they're open now. But
nah. But actually, I know at least for my local libraries, what they did is they actually released, so you can get audiobooks. You can lend audiobooks, and you can lend certain films and TV shows. You can actually stream them from a library account, which is pretty cool.
Really? Huh.
And video games. Actually, I don't know about digitally, but I know for a fact you can get Switch games, you can get certain PS4 games from the local library.
Wow, the more you know.
You know, if you never want to commit to a game, or you just have like a one and done kind of game, check out the library, people. I feel like no one uses the library anymore, other than like for studying.
Yeah.
You know, that's my PSA, I guess, for the day. I mean, you know, everyone's in quarantine. Do you have like a top like must watch these films or these TV shows?
I don't have. I mean, pretty much every film I've seen, I'm sure everyone else has seen. I'm sure. I mean, Cabin in the Woods is still one of my favorite movies to just watch over and over. There's really not anything else.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee you, there are people who are watching this who've never heard of Starship Troopers.
Oh man, that'd be so sad.
It would.
If you haven't, you need to go open your mind to Starship Troopers and its amazingness.
You'll laugh at the joke at the end of the movie.
Yep.
Unintended pun, I'm assuming. But, yeah, I won't say more. I will say, not to spoil it, but the last scene of that movie scared the shit out of me as a child. Like,
really?
I recently rewatched it because I haven't watched it in so long, and it was my like reimagination of that scene was like 5 times scarier than like the actual scene. And I'm like, interesting. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was, but I can get it. I get it. Like, you know, I'm sick. I think I was like 6 years old when I saw that movie. So
oh yeah, that would be pretty. Yeah.
I mean, have you seen
if they could reboot that,
like sequels, or are they just not worth it?
You know, I don't think I've actually seen any of the sequels, or at least long enough to like. I just dismissed them, I guess, and I have not watched them since. So.
Have you seen Hellraiser?
I am not.
So if you're into like pretty weird sci-fi kind of horror, that's a pretty good one. But I feel like the Hellraiser series had the same issue where it was like, first film's great, everything else kind of following it is like, just like really like they killed like literally. It's like Pinhead. If you know Pinhead, that's Hellraiser. That's what everyone kind of knows him from. But they like made 5-6 films.
Jesus.
And I refuse to watch anything past the first one. Oh, supposedly sequel's okay. Some people said that.
Okay.
I mean, have you? So I mean, you're big in sci-fi, but like, are you? I mean, I don't know all the names for it, but like, are you more of like kind of digging the more Trekky, kind of space kind of sci-fi, more like alternate future kind of stuff?
More so, yeah. I think like
alternate
future kind of like. Not really so much Star Trek, I guess. I mean, I was big into Star Wars and stuff growing up, but then kind of fell out of it. Even like with the recent, I mean, I still like the Rogue One. I think was one of my favorite of the new reboot or the newer ones. I haven't seen whatever the last one that came out was.
I will say, so I'm not a big fan of the new films, but I think Mandalorian is definitely worth your time.
And I still haven't seen that. Yeah, no,
that's actually
I've heard
worth your time.
Okay.
Like that's the only Star Wars thing I feel like I can actually recommend these days.
Yeah, because my wife won't watch any of that stuff with me, so I just kind of gotta sneak it in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just like late at night, all alone. Yeah.
Just during work. And
I guess that's why you're trying to get your kids into it, right?
Yeah.
Team up.
Yeah.
That's smart.
We gotta train them.
I feel like so I'm making this recommendation to you, but also to our audience. If you guys like SCP, highly recommend Akira, the comics or the film. I guess just to pitch it, it's basically like an alternate future in Japan, in Tokyo, where these like biker gangs completely rule the city, and these bikers end up kind of, there's like the movie literally starts, so I guess mild spoiler, with a biker gang kind of battling it out in the streets, and they ends up running across some like small little green child, and he ends up using a psychic ability and ends up killing one of their friends that's about to hit him dead on. And then a bunch of like secret agents end up showing up, and they're looking for this kid, and these rebels end up capturing the kid and helping him escape. And the biker gang ends up getting caught up in the mix and like has to choose a side. It's a really cool one. So it definitely has a lot of like secret society, strange SCP kind of psychic weird thing going on there.
Yeah, I've always been drawn to like the artwork and stuff from it.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Like, it's beautiful.
So I'm not sure if you've seen it.
I still haven't seen it. No.
Definitely worth that. I mean, it's from the 80s, but like don't let that phase you. It's definitely like well worth that. That's like one of my favorite, straight up just like favorite sci-fi animated films. I feel like just a lot of, I'm a little bit of an anime nerd, I guess. I say that with shame. I'm pretty picky, but like I'd say there's a lot of really, really good 80s sci-fi. Like that's when Ghost in the Shell came out.
Yeah, that was...
Like there's a lot of really iconic stuff that came out of the 80s. There's a really, really cool short film series I haven't seen yet called it's basically like one feature film, but it's a bunch of smaller films, kind of like I guess ABC's of Death, that kind of format. It's called like Neo Tokyo, and these really strange experimental sci-fi shorts, and I haven't seen it yet, but Jake was telling me it's like one of the most unique film experiences that he's had.
So what was it called again?
Like where people would find it. I think it's called Neo Tokyo. I'll send you a link afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's pretty out there, from what I've heard. And again, that came out in the 90s, and I think they don't even print DVDs anymore. So that's one of those things you're gonna have to just dig on the.
Someone's probably posted it to YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, there's a lot. I know Kiss Anime. They're pretty good. .ru. Don't get viruses because of me, guys. So, you know, I say it with a grain of salt. God, and then have you heard of Satoshi Kon? He's really, 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 really good Japanese director. He did Paprika, which is basically what I call the better Inception. It came out before Inception, but it's a similar premise, but they go a lot further with it, where it's like people are able to go into other people's dreams, and it ends up starting to affect reality through the dreams. But if you liked Inception, I highly recommend Paprika.
Okay.
That's a really, really interesting one. I mean, I just like Cohn a lot because I feel like he's really good at taking sci-fi but still making it feel like there's a still human element. Because I feel like there's an issue with a lot of sci-fi. I'm not going to get too movie ranty. I'll warn you guys now. But I'm not going to get... but I feel like certain sci-fi, they can get too caught up in the world and like the premise, and you kind of forget the characters. And that's one thing I feel like he juggles really well. Because he'll get these really complex scenarios and worlds, I mean, like Inception is one of the most, is literally, that's the joke of the movie, is that it's the most convoluted, confusing premise that you can think of. But he still has like really good characters. It feels grounded. Like I still remember most of the characters. Nothing felt forgettable.
I would definitely like to see that.
I mean, have you seen Interstellar? I feel like that's a must-watch too.
Yeah.
That's my list. I'm not going to rant on for too long, guys, but that should keep you busy for a couple days.
I just don't really... I mean, I like movies and stuff, but there's nothing that I just like, this is something I will always go back to. It's usually like, I'll just search for just certain genres and stuff, and then just look at like still frames. So, I mean, I really don't watch that many movies or TV shows.
That's something I've literally been... I was kicking myself in the ass the past year about that, because I naturally gear the same way. I actually read more than I watch stuff. So that's why my friend literally just sat me down. He gave me like, here are my top 50 movies, here's Criterion Channel, watch them. I'm like, okay. Okay, will do. I mean, like, what do you usually do to like when you kill the time? What's like how are you relaxing during the quarantine?
I mean, if I do have free time, I'll just start. I mean, I pretty much work. I mean, I guess you can consider it work, because I would just get in the cinema and I'd just start making concept stuff, or at least try something new or something. So I feel like I don't really have anything where I just like relax. I mean, I like sit down with my wife and watch TV and stuff, but like that I feel like is like the mind numbing stuff that you can just sit there and just
turn a switch off.
Yeah.
I got you.
So
you definitely need that sometimes though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, so are you working? Do you have any future plans, future things you are cooking in the pot currently? Or is it all top secret?
There's nothing I really want to, I would say, to commit to. I mean, I did float like with the live Q&A thing I did. I'd love to do like short vignettes on certain SCP stuff that's kind of like manageable to do. Yeah. That's mostly just like a teaser or something that would kind of like intrigue someone to just go read the article and stuff.
There's actually I'll share with you later. I'll put in the link. I feel like someone who did it really well. Someone made actually a teaser trailer for an Akira film that's never gonna come out, but I feel like the way they did it was such a cool, enticing way that it like makes people want to check it out, makes them want to read Akira.
Was it the Ash Thorpe one?
Let me look it up real quick. It was like a really short, it was all like really amazing CG, and there's like the really cool elevator scene. How do you spell Thorpe? Is that
Ash Thorpe?
Yep.
RPE.
Yep.
Yeah. He's super good. Super good at.
I was like, that like blew my mind. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you're definitely not going anywhere.
No.
You got future plans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of keeping that open right now. As far as like doing another Kickstarter, I don't think I would do another Kickstarter. So it just is just not a healthy route of doing that. As far as like a low budget film type deal.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only other way you could really go about it, I know some people do, is they'll kickstart first and then go to like a production company or investors. To make the rest of the film.
That would probably be the route to go. However, I don't think you would see a company kind of touch anything SCP, but
nah, sadly.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Understandably though.
Yeah.
And for those wondering why, because I get the Netflix question probably every other week.
Yeah.
It's so basically the license for SCP is Creative Commons, which basically means that anyone can use, say you make a film for SCP, anyone can basically rescreen that film as long as they give you credit. So there's no way a company is going to invest millions of dollars into something and then their competitor could just basically take the film and make millions off their film. Companies want full control of their property, and with SCP, that's the beauty of it. I mean, that's why got to work on it, love it. But that's the reason why it's like never gonna happen for like a private production company to make something out of it.
Yep.
But hey, you got all these creators, so I guess that's the nice side effect of it. Yeah, no, it's a super good, like just pool to kind of like say you're not a good writer, or you just have the visuals for something and you read something and you just want to make a short or whatever on it, go for it. And like as long as you're following the license and stuff, like it's a great tool to kind of do spec work. So 100%. I mean, like literally for me personally, I'm using it as a way to just kind of like learn how to direct. Basically start small. Like our channel's been going bigger and bigger with each video, but like I feel like it's been the perfect way to like get material, get used to adapting, get used to doing original work, getting a little messing with different styles. One's more comedic, one's more found footage, yada yada yada. I feel like and the main thing that I really love, it was like a pleasant surprise with this community, is like the creator side of the community, super friendly, super supportive. I've never had a bad interaction with literally anyone in the creator community, which is like insane to me. I mean, like literally Vogan, like you and Vogan Kickstarter helping push your Kickstarter is a great example of like that.
Oh yeah, like that was he didn't need to do any of that, and
like he didn't even know you that well at that point, right?
Not at all. No, yeah, he just
crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So yeah, I mean, so I'd say that's if you guys end up, the audience want to end up making anything for SCP film, I guess the only thing is make something first before you start trying to ask people for stuff. Just because there is a real reality that a lot of people come out saying, hey, I'm making a movie, or hey, I'm making a trailer, and then they never pull through. So that's the other thing. It's like, especially Vogan, especially a lot of the bigger SCP people, they are super friendly. They're almost too friendly, where it's come to the point where like Vogan's a super busy guy. And he's definitely had times where it's like, if he could, he would help everyone. I mean, even now, I've had to turn some people down for some stuff, because it's like, time, you only have so much time in the world, you know?
Yeah.
But don't let that discourage you guys. Yeah. Wholesome messaging.
Get out there and make something.
So this is a little segment that I'm going to do for as long as the quarantine's around. But for people stuck at home, and they're tired of eating ramen every night, can they like go to like easy dinners that's like just like a favorite kind of meal, spice up people's nights?
God, an easy dinner,
or could just be like your favorite go-to thing.
Oh man, honestly, man, my favorite like go-to thing is like pulled pork on like a toasted buttered bun. Yeah, man, I could pretty much every day. And like even if it's like the frozen stuff like that, you just like thaw and put the sauce or whatever on, man, that's...
I didn't even know they sold frozen pulled pork.
Oh yeah,
I guess that's the thing.
Or chicken, pulled chicken, yeah, any of that.
Oh, pulled chickens, yeah, and that's a little easier to make, guys, just saying.
Yeah.
I've been baking bread to kill time.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
I feel like now's the time. So
start learning those survival skills.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been doing there's a really good YouTube channel, a cooking channel called Adam Grussier, and I like him a lot because, I mean, I don't have kids, but he has like 2 like toddlers, and his whole mentality is how to make good food without like going all Alton Brown and getting too complicated about it.
Yeah.
So his whole thing that I've been making is he makes pizza dough, and he makes it pizza bread. And what you do is basically just make pizza dough and you let it sit in the fridge for like a week. And basically what happens is you kind of get this like mild sourdough kind of vibe without all the work. And it's pretty good. I was doing like an everything bagel kind of seasoning on top of it.
Oh yeah,
It's easy. If I can do it, you guys can do it. Just saying. I guess I'll throw the link in the description too. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. I want to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've asked all the questions, but if there's anything else you want to talk about, anything you want to promote in general.
No, I mean, if you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so, and I do appreciate it. And once kind of all these rewards and stuff kind of go out for the Kickstarters, I'll at least be able to start posting on there and making more content, hopefully here in the next couple weeks, if this thing doesn't end the world. No, but what do you got going on? You got what's going on with your film? Do you have anything to say? Or
yeah, no, we got our first big film. Ooh, not too big. Don't get too many big ideas. Not SCP-96 big. That's for sure. No, we're working on a containment breach short film, which I'm pretty pumped about.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it.
We got a whole small team. We got Nick and Max, which, I mean, we'll get on the podcast at some point. I know they're itching to chat about their stuff. But yeah, we got like a small little like 4 or 5 person team. The only downside is our main location we can't film at right now because literally everything is shut down. But the good news is that we already got some 3D models. We're texturing them. I can still film a quarter of the film because it's outside with me and one of my friends, and we won't get fined because we're in a group smaller than 3 people.
That's nice.
So keep that in mind.
Limitations, man.
Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, work around it. I mean, it's actually working in Vantage because, like, for example, I guess small spoiler, there's going to be a scene at a train station where it's supposed to be empty.
Nice.
And we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, no painting people out. Nice.
Exactly. Ugh, thank God. And, like, we're entering foggy season for New York soon. Like, literally any week now, I just need one foggy night, and we're just going to run out and get, like,
oh, nice. That's cool.
So it'll be fun because I don't want to deal with adding in a ton of
fog
in post, and no thanks. But yeah, and then I guess I'm gonna promote on my own podcast. If you guys want to stay in tune with that, we're probably gonna do some VFX streams on Fallen Foundry once in a blue moon. So yeah.
Nice, awesome. Look forward to that.
Yeah, thanks, man, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, nice no problem. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
And thank you guys tuning in. Next podcast, we're gonna have one of my favorite SCP YouTubers as well, Fallen Creature. Just check him out. If you guys don't know, he does animated SCP Lego films, and he also works with Lord Bung as his animator. So stay tuned. Cool.
Awesome.
I guess that's a cut.